Today, I'm going to show you how I made these into this. With the help of this. In the last video, I showed you the very first piece that I made when I was experimenting with the beginnings of this paper mache technique. In this video, I'm going to show you the second piece that I made called Where is Mama Going? These are all of the molds for this sculpture, Where is Mama Going? The sculpture got complicated, but it showed me that this technique can work. I need to go back a little bit further and explain. In my case, I wanted to tell stories with sculpture, so I had to figure out how. Then this happened when I saw this sculpture and I wanted to copy it. I suggest that you find a great sculpture that speaks to you and copy it too. It's been said that good artists borrow, great artists steal. So I stole, and I tried, and I failed. Partly because the sculpture is incredibly difficult, of course, and partly because my plasticine kept melting in the heat here in Colima. Hello, sculptors and makers. This is Diane van der Zanden at Atelier Arenas on Rancho Flor del Cerro in Colima, Mexico. Today, we're going to go back in time a little bit, and I'm going to show you the second sculpture I made using this method to make paper mache with lightweight, inexpensive, durable materials. Then I saw this etching of Where is Mama Going? From Los Caprichos, a series of etchings by Francisco Goya. I had to try again, and this time it worked a little better. I used hard wax on a wire armature. Using a mold to cast the wax, it was thin enough to cast directly with the lost wax bronze casting method. I made and sold 3 or 4 of these. I couldn't get this idea out of my mind, and a long while later, I tried it with the clay available here in Colima, which kept cracking. I had been spoiled with all the sculpture clays available in the USA. At some point, I gave up on clay and bought a harder plasticine. This is the model that finally ended up being cut up and used to make the molds. Meanwhile, we built our house and saw beautiful skies. And finally finished the patios. I keep showing you this because it's really important. The mold won't come off the original if it has undercuts and bad draft. Non-toxic plaster molds are the keystone of this method. Instead of slumping on the outside of the molds, I'm layering paper on the insides. Small craft paper pieces are layered into the mold using PVA glue. Here, the paper pieces are dry and ready to be removed from the molds and come together again. I use the flanges to pull the paper pieces out of the molds. Back then, I wasn't using the flanges to join the pieces. I put paper paste coils inside the finished paper pieces and used the molds to join them together. Mortise and tenon joints provide a way to attach and a place to glue the parts together. Assembly starts by drilling holes in the board and the paper pieces for the threaded rods. The first paper piece is attached to the board with washers, nuts, and paper paste. If you've watched this much of the video, I really appreciate it. And what you can do for me is subscribe and like, and really comments make a world of difference for me in these videos. Thank you. As the sculpture dries, I continue to assemble the pieces, first with masking tape and then with paper paste. I learned! The mold making and joining processes are much easier if I don't cut the original plasticine into many small pieces. Paper lamination is easier if the mold surfaces are smooth. This method allows for working small, but I prefer to work larger. PVA glue is better than Yes paste in my humid climate. I don't know exactly what Goya was trying to say here. The caprichos etchings were social and political commentary, which I love, and the ridiculousness depicted in his images still delights me. I started this almost 30 years ago. Since then, I haven't gotten Goya's images out of my head because of the rawness of the images and the stories they tell. I want to sculpt stories. In the next video, adapting authentic Venetian mold making techniques and tricks.